Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, with another What Sold on eBay video for you today. Today we have the top 10 things sold in the month of September 2019. We had some pretty good sales and all that stuff. But if you're new to the channel, definitely go down there and click the subscribe button. We're going to go over the top 10 things going from number 10 all the way down to number 1. So you're going to want to stay tuned to see what our top selling item was for September. So I hope everyone is having an amazing week so far. It is the beginning of the month, which means we go over the things that we have sold. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, eBay Hub Manager for the American Cancer Society. All these items were donated, just for the heads up. So if you're wondering how much the costs were on all these things were donated. And a majority of the money goes to cancer research, housing, transportation, doctor visits, wigs, all kinds of great stuff. So it's a great charity, and I'm super stoked to be a part of this. So we got to touch on some very sad news real quick, and we're going to get into that right now. Some of you might have remembered the painting that we sold for $5,000. It actually was returned, so I'm going to use this as a walk of shame and a little bit of a learning experience for myself and for everyone. Now, the frame on this thing was damaged, so my first photo, and actually there is some other photos of it in the frame was really damaged. It was brittle, coming apart, and it was missing some of the pieces on top here. To me, it was just a mess. So what happened was, when I sent it, I'm not sure if the customer had buyer's remorse or anything like that, but they were upset that it didn't come with the frame, though it clearly states in the auction right here, in big bold letters, does not come with broken frame. Frame is falling apart. Art will be shipped by itself. So when the customer received it, they were upset. Now, this is my bad, because eBay rules state that whatever's in the picture you have to send. So they easily were able to get a refund for item not as described. So that's a little bit of a dinger for me, a little hard lesson. We have since relisted. They sent it back. Came in perfect condition. They didn't even really open it. They just kind of looked to see if the... I think, to be honest, I think they might have had buyer's remorse, though. They said that they wanted to restore the frame, but the frame was in such dire condition. Like, it would even cost probably more to restore the frame than it would to restore the photo or the painting. So we got it back. We're thinking about doing the restoration ourselves. Not ourselves, but we're thinking about going to a third party. What's nice about being in the area we're in Southern California, there is plenty of reputable restoration art houses locally, within a 15-minute drive. There's a couple of them here in town. So we're looking into that. For those that want to know about restoration, it's going to cost you anywhere between $500 and $1,000 for a restoration with a frame, depending on the size and the amount of work. And maybe I'll do a video about that at some point. And if you do want to see a video of that at some point, definitely click the like button. Maybe if we do choose to get this restored, I'll go through the whole process and kind of do a vlog about that. So a little bit of a disappointment, but it's one of those things. This is actually a valuable painting once it gets restored and it's have its proper another frame that matches it. So a little bummer, but that's just part of eBay is learning and growing. Next up, number 10, I should say, is this La Creuset pot. And like I said, we've talked about this brand before. This is a brand that you definitely need to look out for. Me personally, I've never seen this at a thrift store, and I've been going to thrift stores for a few decades now. And I will say I've never seen one of these in the store. This stuff is usually estate sale stuff. I mean, like I said, I've never even seen this at a garage sale. But people do donate this, and it's very high-end cookware. It's kind of like iron pot cookware that has like an enamel kind of coating to it, and this is basically what it looks like. From what I've seen, a lot of them are blue. Some of the older ones are blue. Now, there are different colors. There's whites and all that kind of stuff. But lately, the stuff that we've been getting this year has been the blue kind of tone. And there was one lady that donated 3 of these to our shop. And she specified like, oh, these are in great condition, and I've had them for years. And she was saying that she was upgrading her cookware, so she's probably purchasing newer La Creuset cookware and stuff like that. So definitely look out for this brand. This is number 10, and this sold for a total, of course it's not going to come up, a total of $160.55. So definitely look out for this brand. Number 9, we have this rare set Eddie Walker Mayflower ship, Pilgrim's Family Midwest Cannon. I have no idea what this is, and a huge shout out to Paula from Stockton that had this sale. This sold for a total of $159.99. I'm not exactly sure what this is. It looks like some sort of, let's see if there's any mint marks on this thing. Let's see, here you go, Midwest. Yeah, original carvings by Eddie Walker of Old World Santas. Now this does look like, actually, you know what? Maybe this part was the original carving. Maybe they're original carvings. No, those actually look like they're hand done. Anyways, it's one of those things where, for me, I might even pass something like this up just going around. Definitely, I would probably use folk art in the title if you're ever going to be selling stuff like this, especially handmade wooden items like this. Definitely, it's the folk arty kind of thing. Let me see what category this actually was sold in. Actually, it doesn't show it. Kind of curious to see what category this was sold in. But like I said, this sold for about $160 total. And just if you're going to be shipping stuff like this, I wonder if the oh yeah, I guess that does come out. Yeah, it all comes apart. I was worried about the mass and the sail and everything possibly breaking, but it looks like it all comes apart. So that's very cool. I usually try to stay away from delicate things when it comes to shipping on some of those items sometimes, because there could be a tremendous amount of breakage on some of these things. Next time we have this Gorham Sterling Silver. This is a bread bowl plate, 350 plus grams. This is sterling scrap, as we could see here. See if we could see here. And it's got the sterling mark. As you can see here, it's got the little different things. Definitely, if you ever get this kind of stuff, test it out. Use the magnet. Make sure that's truly silver, sterling. Do all the little tests that you need to do with that. But this is actually a pretty crazy sale here. And so this sold for a total of $172.50. This stuff is like mostly going to be estate sale things that you're going to find. And for the most part, estate sale people know what they're looking for. There's some older silver that isn't marked. And so that's where you're going to get away with stuff if you're finding stuff at Goodwill and Savers and other kind of places like that. Is some of the older stuff isn't marked. Even older gold jewelry, Victorian era vintage jewelry is not even hallmarked. So if you know what you're looking for, you can come up with some good deals. About 10 or 15 years ago, people were finding this stuff all day long at Goodwills, but for now, there's some. I know an insider who has told me about like the ways the ways of Goodwill, and so it's very interesting to see their kind of production and their kind of assembly line of how they pull all this stuff. So like, to be honest, like finding this stuff at a Goodwill is going to be rare and hard, to do, but this stuff's out there. Even garage sales, people might think it's silver plate and sell it for a silver plate and not knowing. So it's one of those things to just know what you're looking for. So definitely look out for this kind of stuff. Let's see here, 10, 9, 8, 7. I think this is 7. I don't know. Let's see here. 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7. This Navajo Turquoise sterling belt buckle. Look out for these. These are out there. This sold for a total of, let's see here, $194.99. And this silver buckle with a fake bear claw. It is signed, as you can see here, with the little S. And so there's that. And just look out for this stuff. Just be warned, when you're selling any kind of Native American stuff, you have to have the tribe that it's from and the artist on eBay to be able to list this stuff. And I don't think you can even put Native American. There's a lot of keywords that you cannot put in a title, so just do your research on that. This one was actually taken down many months ago because I just stuffed it with keywords that weren't supposed to be there. And so, like I said, there's definitely that. So just know your stuff. When you post any of this kind of Native American jewelry or any of that kind of stuff, you're going to get a warning for the most part. So just read those warnings and make sure that you're following the rules. This is a very cool item. This is a President Dwight D Eisenhower. This is item number 6. This sold for, no, this actually, we took a best offer. This didn't sell for $9.99. I think we took a best offer for $200 on this. This sold for a total of $209. When I was going through some of the stuff at Northridge, I saw this document in a frame, and it was like buried under all kinds of different things, and I knew exactly what this was. And now kind of authenticating the signature is another thing. Now, we don't do in-house authentication. We actually sell these as you can see here. I actually put down here, signature has not been authenticated, and if you do your drop down in your item specifics, there's something that says not authenticated. Always do that, especially if it's not authenticated. To me, when I did my research, and I've showed you the books I have before on FBI. I have FBI books on calligraphy and all that kind of stuff. I think that became major during the Zodiac Killer, the killings in San. Anyways, I'm going off subject, but anyways, I have a more than adequate understanding of signatures, and to me, everything matched up on this particular signature. Especially the fading of the ink. You can't. I mean, you could, I guess, technically fake that kind of brownish fading, but it's kind of hard to do. And like I said, all the characteristics were there, all the tells were there. Just like there's poker tells, if you're a poker player, you can kind of pick up on certain tells when you're dealing with signatures. And I'm going to do a video on this. I keep saying I am, but I really am. How you can authenticate signatures yourself. You're not going to be like, oh, it's authenticated by me, some freaking amateur, but you can at least still post that it's not authenticated, but you yourself could do the research where you feel confident enough in listing it as not a fake item, because there's a lot of sports memorabilia that was produced in the late 80s and the early 90s that were forged. And so when you're getting into newer era, junk era baseball stuff is when you really need to do your due diligence. And so, yeah, there's that. And so when you talk about movie actors and all that kind of stuff, you can go down a rabbit hole. Like I said, I have a couple FBI books that were published for the FBI talking about calligraphy and how to kind of determine even one's personality. It's crazy. Like I said, I've done my fair share of research on signatures, and I think I've gone on enough about this. But presidential signatures, this stuff's out there. And like I said, we removed this from the frame. The frame was beat up. This actually was really cool out of the frame. The frame kind of made it, I don't know, the presentation of the frame was just old and nasty. So another cool story about this is it was sold to a school teacher that has a collection of presidential signatures, and this was one that they were missing. So they were very excited to get this. So that was very cool. So shout out to that school teacher that purchased this. And like I said, the money goes to the American Cancer Society. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this video, definitely click the like button. If you want to see what we have for sale, definitely go down there. There's a link below. Send me an offer on anything. Send me a reasonable offer on anything you see. And like I said, it's 100% goes to the American Cancer Society. So definitely check that out. Here we go with number 5. This is a 1950s Lockheed Starliner. This is a L1649 Air France aluminum model. Now, the nice thing about also living in Burbank, this is kind of like the aviation center of America. Also, St. Louis, Missouri would be another place where aviation is king. But here in we're kind of right by where the old Lockheed used to be. There's a lot of aerospace industries. There's a lot of stuff within a 50-mile radius of here. Skunk Works is here. I think Northrop Grumman's here. There's a lot. I think Boeing. I think there's a lot of places. Aviation in Southern California, especially Burbank, has a rich history, especially with the P-38s, World War II. And so we commonly get this kind of stuff in from time to time. And like I said, if you're in Missouri, St. Louis area, you're probably going to see a higher uptick of aviation type things like this. Well, anyways, this is an old desk model. And this was very cool, and it's actually in really good condition. Any of the other ones I saw weren't in that great condition as we took a trip down Worth Point to go, lock this down and stuff. This thing was in, this even had the felt. The ones that I saw on Worth Point didn't even have the felt still on the bottom. And so these ranged, anywhere between $80 to $300. And so we did take a best offer. This sold for $227.90. So look out for these kind of desk models. You're probably going to come across wooden ones. Wooden ones are very common, and so they still go for good money. So if you can get a wooden one that looks amazing for like $5 or $10, I would definitely pick it up. That would be your price point of an instant pickup for sure. So like I said, a lot of them are made out of wood now, and there are some very large ones to look out for. Those can go for thousands of dollars. There's like, and then I think they were made for kind of like to show different companies, like what the planes look like and everything. These kind of are the same way, but the large ones are for basically, a door-to-door salesman type of mentality, where you go to a huge corporation or wherever and you'd be like, oh, this is our new Starliner or whatever. And so look out for those. Those are very rare, but those are out there. So I'm just letting you know, planting the seeds. Number 4, we got this green tourmaline. I think that's how you say that. Tourmaline, cabochon. I know how to say that ring. I think cabochon is the description of the circle stone. It's kind of like a flattened on one end, round on the other, oval. This was a 18 karat yellow gold women's ring. This was all the stuff in here. Huge shout out to Paula, who probably did the hand modeling here. And another pro tip is always have a photo of a scale in your photos. It's just, people want to see that. They want to see the weight, because a lot of people buy this stuff. They value a lot of this stuff on the weight of the actual metals and things like that. So, a lot of people buy this stuff for basically vanity purposes, as far as like the way the jewelry looks, and, oh, I like this particular stone or whatever. But a lot of people also determine their prices on the weights and the particular metals, the purity of the metals, blah, blah, blah. Platinum, white gold, yellow gold, silver, sterling, palladium, rhodium, all those fun things. So this sold for a total of $282.50. So, of course, jewelry, rings, everyone knows about this. And like I said, some of the vintage and antique stuff won't have hallmarks. And I don't know if this actually has a hallmark on it. Let's see if it does. There it is right there. There's a 750 and all this kind of stuff. So very cool. Number 3 is this vintage featherweight Singer. By the way, for those that are out there, and huge shout out to Pleasanton, they've been killing it, is you don't have to put the whole word vintage in there. You can put VTG as an abbreviation, and it works just fine. So you can actually save, 4 characters by just putting VTG at the very beginning of your listing, and you can stuff those keywords with 4 extra characters, all that. This is a great sale. This is actually a pretty good condition for the age of this thing. Some Singers go for a crazy amount of money, especially some of the vintage ones, specific vintage ones. They made a lot of certain ones that you think they're like, oh my god, this is antique, it's so old, but they mass produce some of that, so much of that stuff. So you need to research these per item. This is definitely going to be a estate sale type of item, garage sale item. I don't think I've ever seen, I don't want to say ever, because we've had 2 vintage Singers in our store in the last year, those ones that are like built into those huge tables and everything. And so I don't want to say you're not going to see that. You're probably not going to see these at Goodwill. They're probably going to pull these and sell these on their online shop. So there's definitely that. And what am I doing here? I'm looking for a price. That's what I'm doing. This sold for a total of $411. So definitely look out for these kind of things, especially this 211K model right there. So number 2, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Number 1's going to be just a click away here. Number 2, this is antique sterling silver asparagus tongs. Who knew there was asparagus tongs? I guess there is. Buttercup design by Gorham, another Gorham silver piece item. It was actually really cool. Sterling silver. This is solid sterling here. 9 inches long. And let's see here. There it is. Gorham sterling. Now I think Gorham sterling is out of the UK or out of the British kind of isles over there. I do believe, I could be wrong, and so or if I'm thinking of I'm thinking of maybe something else. But definitely, like I said, if you see Gorham sterling, definitely pick that up, especially if it's a good price. And if you have a scaler or something like that, you can weigh it against the spot price of silver. Sterling's going to be like, what's sterling? Nine? No, like 999. And so definitely look out for that. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you how much this sold for total. $416.54. This was a crazy sale. This is a great sale from Paula. Huge shout out to Paula. And by the way, we have about two team members that also do listings with me. I kind of manage the whole thing and do listings. And so there's a couple other, and there might be actually some opportunities for other employees to be hired on in the future. We are looking for possibly someone in the San Francisco, San Jose, upper California area. So we might be putting out some feelers for that if you're interested in doing eBay part-time for the American Cancer Society. We'll talk more about that next year probably. The number one item was a Native American, or I should say native, sterling coral shadow box squash blossom. And huge shout out to Julie, who helped me out with some of she does jewelry, and she helped me out with some of I didn't know that this actually, these little kind of cup things are called shadow boxes in this particular jewelry style. Anyways, for those that don't know what a squash blossom is, this is pretty much what it looks like. To me, it almost looks like insect, kind of beetle looking kind of jewelry. They're huge and very intricate. They range from all kinds of prices, from the hundreds to the thousands, especially if you can find some of the very vintage, well-known artisan ones that have like turquoise and are just all done. To my knowledge, I'm sure someone's made these out of gold, but traditionally they're made out of sterling silver. And as we can see here, so if you ever see something like this, definitely pick it up, especially if the price is right. And these are marked, as you can see, sterling with a PG. This was artist signed, as you can see here, on the basically clasp, also PG. And if you go to Google and search Native American jewelry marks, there's a great website that has hundreds of them, and they're all alphabetical order. So if you saw this PG, you can actually look up the artist. Now, sometimes there's multiple artists with that same name. So it could be like Peggy G, or it could be Patty G. They could be daughters, or mother and daughter, or cousins and stuff like that. So just be aware that if you have the same PG and there's two of them, you can go back, look at the different things that they made, and determine which one is which, because for the most part, these different artisans, they have different styles that are unique to them. Everything's kind of like the same, but there's these little intricate things, like I'll show you exactly, like kind of like what an example of what I'm saying here. So like this squash blossom in the middle has these wire, I think I did a better photo of this. You see in here, there's these twisted wire things that go along the middle. Now, if you looked up those two different types of artists, one of them might, or is the only, it's almost like the signatures we were just talking about a minute ago, is every artist is going to have a certain tell and these twisted wires inside the center here. And that's actually has a very specific name. And if you remember that name or know that name for that little moon crescent thing, that piece has its own unique name. If you can leave a comment below. I don't remember exactly what it is. And of course, we had, the silver weight and all that, and another kind of hand thing. With jewelry, I try to stay away from the hand stuff, unless it's a ring or anything like that. But this is a great photo of the whole piece. But my main photo was this, because if you're on eBay and you're just scrolling through, you're going to want to see this instead of like a really kind of zoomed out photo of this. This is more captivating, compelling. That's the word I'm looking for. Compelling for the viewer to click and all that kind of stuff. And nope, the mosquitoes are back. There's one of them. All right, I gotta wrap this up before they start eating me alive here up in the attic. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. I really appreciate you tuning in. Definitely go down there, click the subscribe button. Share this with your friends and family on Facebook. If you have a Facebook group, people that might want to see this. We're getting close to 10,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. We're going to be doing more of these kind of videos. I kind of been taking a little bit of break from YouTube, focusing more on the Patreon stuff. And by the way, if you want to join the Patreon group, also a link is to that below. We're going to be doing some exclusive videos this week for them. So I really appreciate my Patreons also for that. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler, and we'll see you next time. Take care.